Welcome to this week's episode of Humans in 5.
OMGSL. Did you hear the latest update about the Game of Thrones casting? I can't even.
Yes, I know, it's like totally epic, like I literally can't wait to see it.
For a lot of members of our generation, this is often how we talk. In fact, use of that kind of language has been used to identify members of our millennial generation. The use of language to help construct and understand group identities is actually a key component of one field of anthropological study, linguistic anthropology.
Many people are familiar with the field of linguistics, which is the study of language and how it is structured. Linguists investigate language syntax, or the rules that govern sentence and structure and word order, phonetics, or how speech sounds, and semantics, or the meanings of words, phrases, or text.
Linguistic anthropology, on the other hand, is a field that looks at how language creates social relationships in a cultural context. Linguistic anthropologists are interested in how languages may be used to forge group identities and how signs may help communicate messages to those in the know who share social and cultural contexts.
Linguistic anthropologists do use tools from linguistics to identify language elements that are socially and culturally meaningful. For example, an understanding of the syntax and semantic elements of I can't even or yas can help to define these terms. Once we understand a bit more about what these terms mean and how they are used, we can start to understand how they are used by us younger generations.
Overall, however, linguistic anthropology is less focused on the mechanics of language and is more interested in the different contexts in which we use linguistic signs and sounds. After establishing the form or rules of a language, anthropologists will consider how it's used and interpret instances where language might be used in an unexpected way. For example, in conventional language use, sickening doesn't exactly sound like a good thing. But in some social and cultural circles, this word indicates that something is amazing.
Anthropologists also consider the ideologies of language, or how language use and form relate to the wider social world in which terms are used. By looking at how these terms are used within a specific social context, we can build models not just on how words and signs are used, but on who uses these terms. This can be used to identify the domain of a language, or the group of people who recognize the relationship between the form, use, and ideology of words and signs.
Whether or not we realize it, we are all guilty of using language that has specific meanings depending on our social and cultural context. Often we don't realize it. For example, when was the last time you dropped a word or phrase that your parents or grandparents didn't quite understand? Words that fall into this generational gap are a prime example of how socially and culturally specific language can be.
We might not always notice these gaps, but linguistic anthropologists are uniquely positioned to use linguistic tools and methods combined with sociocultural awareness to decode what we mean when we say it.
So stay rad, you crazy diamonds, and we'll see you next time on Humans in 5.
See you then.